Reggie Brown, Matrix Kilgore, the River Nigel, Joseph Walker.
I'm a poet, you see. A poet. When this country, when the world learns the meaning of poetry, don't you see, Jeff? Poetry is what the revolution is all about. Never forget the true purpose of the revolution, of all revolutions, to restore poetry to the Godhead. Poetry is religion. It's the Alpha and the Omega. It's the super eye under which every other eye is scrutinized. And it stretches from one to infinity, from bullshit to the beatific. It's the rocking chair of the human spirit. God himself is pure, distilled poetry. Seeing you in your uniform, them bars on your shoulders, them navigator wings on your chest, it's a kind of poetry, Jeff. Black poetry.
I didn't make it through navigation school. I flunked out, washed out, whatever you want to call it.
You lie. Go and get that uniform.
No, Daddy Johnny.
But this is my house. When I asked my son, who I ain't seen but 3 or 4 times,
I'll leave today because I've had enough homecoming for a lifetime.
Ain't nobody asking you to leave.
Everybody talking to me like I'm sweet 16 or something. Everybody telling me what to do.
You didn't write to us about flunking out, Jeff.
How was I supposed to write to you? I mean, every letter you wrote to me was telling me how proud you were of your navigator son.
I thought you were doing all right.
Because that's what you wanted to think.
What else could I think?
About me, Daddy Johnny? Damn your pride. You knew I hated figures.
You never worked hard enough.
So you say. Hey, Jeff Williams, he's my son. Anything I can do, he can do.
You can't. It's all in how you think of yourself.
There are some things that I can do that you can't do, Pop. But magic's not one of them. I mean, that's you. Can't you dig that?
No. Hell no. All I see is that you flunked out. My boy failed. That's all I can see.
Everybody had a piece in me. I mean, there were 3 black officers at that navigation school out of 300 instructors. And you know what they would always tell me? They would say, you gotta make it through to be a credit to your race.
What's wrong with that?
And I had this fox, Pop, a fox to end. Oh, foxes, let me tell you. I mean, you would put your hands in her hair and stroke it, and it would feel like you were touching water. And you know what she would say to me? She would say, you gotta bring that extra $130 of flight pay home so you can keep me in the style you made me accustomed to.
Come on and get to the point.
That is the point, see? It's just like you say, we gotta pick our battlefields. Don't you see how that statement relates to what I'm saying right now?
I want to see you in your uniform. What's all this talk about?
It's about you and me and battlefields. About who Jeff Williams is.
Then tell me, who the hell is he?
The dude who hated navigation. I would get a migraine every time. Every time I would go up on a flight, I would want to throw up. No. On my last exam, a night celestial, we were supposed to go up and track our flight. At the end, I had us 60 miles into Mexico, while everybody else had us in Harlingen Air Force Base, Texas. And there was this flight instructor, this all-American howdy-doody white flight instructor who would come by and check and recheck my work because I was what they call the belligerent nigger. And he had this one joke. What was it? Don't y'all ever worry about getting lost, because at least you're in the airplane. When we were flying and coming in, the sun was coming up over the clouds. And it looked like somebody just sprinkled red pepper all over him. So I ripped a page out of my flight log and began to write a poem. A simple poem, you see, because I believe in poetry. It was a poem about creation and everything that is beautiful. Just then, this howdy-doody ass instructor comes over and sees me writing a poem and he snatches it up. And then he starts to laugh. And then he shows all the other orangutan instructors my poem and then they start to laugh. Laughing about something they don't even understand about. And then I ask myself, what am I doing here? What the hell am I doing this for? So then they put me in front of a board of senior officers because, see, this was my second time failing my night celestial. They gave me this all-American flat-ass white defender. And you know what he tells me? He tells me to come a plea, to tell them how much I love my country and how devoted I am to the Air Force. He told me to lick ass, Pop. Lick ass! So when it was my turn to get up and talk, I got up and I said, let my toe go. And then they all were hemming and hawing, you know. And they said, what? You know how white people do when they can't believe what their ears is telling them. So then, I stood up and I said on the top of my lungs, let my nigger toe go so I can stand up and be a man. And they did. They let go. I cut myself loose. And they let go. And then I went home and I cut my fine fox loose. And then I cut my fellow black officers loose. And it felt good, Pop. It felt as if I could fly. Like nothing was holding me to the ground. So I'm not going to justify what I did to anybody. Not black, not white, not blue, not polka dot, not to you, not to Mom, not to anybody. If you want to do something with that damn uniform, you can take it to the Salvation Army or the Goodwill, because it will never have the goodwill of being on my shoulders again. You're right, Pop. It is all about picking our battlefields. You were right, Daddy Johnny. It's about battlefields.